The Scorpio Blueprint, Step 3, Part 2. Next, examine your beliefs, particularly the ones about yourself. What stories are you telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of? Where did these stories come from? Are they even true? Most of your limiting beliefs were handed to you by people who had their own limitations. Your parents, your early relationships, your culture, your experiences, they all contributed to the narrative you've been living. But that narrative isn't the objective truth. It's just a story, and stories can be rewritten. I'm too sensitive. I'm not good enough. I always choose the wrong people. I'm destined to be alone. I don't deserve happiness. I'm too damaged for love. I'm not the kind of person who can set boundaries. I'm not smart enough, talented enough, worthy enough. These are lies. They feel true because you've repeated them so many times. But repetition doesn't create truth, it creates familiarity, and you've become far too familiar with your own diminishment. I believed for years that I was too much, too intense, too emotional, too demanding, too complicated. I've been told this in various ways throughout my life, and I internalized it as truth. So I made myself less emotional, less demanding, less complicated, less of everything I actually was. And you know what happened? I was depressed for some time because denying your nature doesn't make you more acceptable. It makes you sick. The belief that I was too much was given to me by people who couldn't handle intensity, who were threatened by emotion, who wanted me to be manageable. It was their limitation, not mine, but I wore it like a fact. What beliefs are you carrying that aren't yours? What stories have you internalized about your worth, your capacity, your deserving? Who gave you these stories, and what did they have to gain from you believing them? Write them down. Every single limiting belief you have about yourself, and then ask, is this true or is this just familiar? Most of the time, it's just familiar, and familiar is not the same as true. Finally, look at your commitments and how you're spending your time. Every yes to something is a no to something else. Every hour you spend on activities that don't fulfill you is an hour you could have spent building the life you actually want. You're probably overcommitted and undervalued. You've said yes to things you didn't want to do because you were afraid of disappointing people. You've taken on responsibilities that aren't yours because you thought it would make you indispensable. You've filled every moment of your day so you don't have to sit with yourself. But transformation happens in stillness, growth happens in space. You need room to breathe, to think, to feel, to become. And you won't have that room until you create it by removing what doesn't belong. I looked at my calendar once during my transformation year and realized I had committed to 23 meetings, a weekend meetup, and 4 prepaid golf lessons, all in 1 month. My schedule was full, and my life felt empty. I was busy, but I wasn't fulfilled. I was productive, but I wasn't purposeful. I was committed to everyone else's priorities and completely disconnected from my own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you seek tranquility, do less, or, more accurately, do what's essential. This is your task now. Identify the essential and release everything else. But here's what makes this hard. Releasing commitments means disappointing people. It means saying, I know I said yes, but I need to say no now. It means letting people down. It means being seen as unreliable, flaky, and selfish. And for people pleasers, that feels like death. But you know what actual death is? It's spending your entire life fulfilling obligations you never wanted, serving people who never gave you anything back, saying yes when you meant no, until you forget what you actually want. That is death. Setting boundaries allows you to live. So make 3 lists. Relationships to release is the first thing on the list. People who drain you, disrespect you, or keep you small. Be specific. Write names. Write exactly what pattern you're releasing. For example, Sarah takes but never gives, dismisses my feelings, only calls when she needs something. Then make a list of habits to break, behaviors that numb you, distract you, or keep you stuck. Be specific, not stop wasting time, but instead write stop scrolling Instagram for hours every night when I should be sleeping. Stop saying yes to every request without considering if I actually want to do it. Stop working through lunch to prove I'm dedicated. And then the third list is beliefs to discard. Stories about yourself that limit your potential or deny your worth. Be specific. Write the exact phrases. I'm too broken to be loved. I don't deserve to prioritize myself. Setting boundaries makes me selfish. I have to earn my place in people's lives. You need clarity to take action. Vague intentions lead to vague results. Precise awareness creates precise change. And here's the most important part: you don't need to know what's coming next. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start removing what's in the way. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you create space by letting go, something better will fill it. But you have to trust the process. You have to believe that releasing what no longer serves you isn't a loss, it's setting yourself free. I was a little terrified when I started this inventory because I realized that most of my life needed to go. Most of my relationships were one sided. Most of my habits were avoidance. Most of my beliefs were lies against personal power. Most of my commitments were obligations I'd taken on out of fear, not desire, and worse, on automatic pilot. And I thought, if I release all of this, what will be left? And for quite some time, the answer terrified me. What will be left? Me. Just me. But I did it anyway. I started releasing, slowly at first, and then more decisively. I had conversations I'd been avoiding. I canceled commitments I should never have made. I distanced myself from people who'd been taking advantage of my inability to say no. And yes, it was uncomfortable. Yes, people were upset. Yes, I questioned myself constantly. But you know what? Something else happened too. I started to feel lighter, like I'd been carrying a massive weight and finally set it down, like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally exhaled. Space opened up, time appeared, energy returned, and in that space, I started to hear myself again. My own voice, my own desires, my own truth, things that had been drowned out by everyone else's needs and expectations. The old me would have held on out of fear, loyalty, or hope. The transformed one understands that holding on to what's wrong prevents her from receiving what's right. So let go, create space, trust the void. Your transformation is waiting on the other side of your attachment to what's hurting you. This is the subtraction that makes room for addition. This is the clearing that makes space for growth. This is the ending that allows for new beginnings. You can't plant a garden in soil that's full of weeds. You have to clear the ground first. That's what this step is, clearing the ground of your life so something beautiful can finally grow. It's time. You know it's time. You know what needs to go. You've known for a while. You've just been afraid. But on the other side of that fear is freedom, and you deserve to be free.